Today's topic is using brainstorming to overcome writer's block. If you've got 5 minutes, I've got 5 tips that might help you. So in the last episode of Write, Fix, Repeat, we talked about brainstorming and how to do it better. In this episode, now that I know you know how to do it, the question is, how can you use it to help your writing? Well, there are a number of different aspects of your writing that brainstorming can help, but today I want to specifically look at how you might use brainstorming to get over or around writer's block. Before I get to that, I need to remind you of something. Quite a while ago, I think it was episode number 22, if I'm not mistaken, I talked about how to avoid writer's block. And the fact is, I'm not really sure writer's block exists. I think it would be best not to label it that, but for lack of a better word, let's talk about it that way. You're having a little problem in your writing and you need to have some techniques for dealing with it. Brainstorming can be one of those techniques. Now, I'm not going to go over a definition of brainstorming again in this video. Remember, brainstorming is often used in groups, but we're talking about individual brainstorming. So if you want to see my definition of brainstorming, go back to the last video and the definition is there. So, 5 tips for how you can use brainstorming to get over, around, or avoid writer's block. When you're having a problem with your writing, here are some suggestions as to how to do some brainstorming to get over it. Tip number 1, do a timed session of free writing. Yes, free writing can be a form of brainstorming, and it can be a very directed form of brainstorming to solve a particular problem. What you need to do is to get out a notebook and a pen or pencil, preferably not do this on the computer. Set yourself a timer for 10 or 15 minutes and start writing. But unlike regular free writing, you do have a bit of a focus here. Start with the last few words of the sentence that is causing you a problem in your writing and use that as the starting point. Then just start writing. Put down all the ideas that come to your head. Don't worry about coherence. Don't worry about spelling. Don't worry about punctuation in this one instance. This is just for you, and just write. Don't stop for that 10 or 15 minutes that you have indicated that you were going to do. Funny enough, this does help you tap into your creativity. Tip number 2, create a mind map that uses the last paragraph that you wrote in your piece of writing as the central theme. Of course, you know that a mind map is used to visually organize your ideas. But usually you start in the center of that mind map with a single word, for example, or single idea. What I'm going to suggest you do is you take that last paragraph and you put that in the middle of the mind map and begin writing ideas that flow from that come out of that, the spokes that come out of that. What's in that? What's packed into that paragraph or that last sentence? What do the words mean? Take out individual words and tease them out and write down as a part of that mind map any ideas that come to you as a result. This can spark new ideas, it can reveal hidden connections, and it may do much more for you than simply get you moving into the next paragraph that you're having difficulty getting to. It might put your whole work into a different frame of mind. Tip number 3, get out your notebook and play word association with yourself. Now, I'm not suggesting you do just any words. Pick out the words from your last paragraph that you wrote. Write each of those words down as if they were individual words and start doing some word association. You'll come up with all kinds of crazy ideas by doing this word association with a paragraph that you've already created. Tip number 4, if you're writing fiction, do a character brainstorming session. Now, actually, if you're writing nonfiction and there are characters in it, which there often are in nonfiction as well, not in prescriptive nonfiction, if you're writing a how-to book, this might not be the best approach for you. But nevertheless, you write down the name of each character and then begin brainstorming ideas that come to your mind immediately as you look at the name of that particular character, what the name means, how it sounds to you, what their personal characteristics are like. Just do a general brainstorming for individual characters, but do more than one. Don't just do one. This kind of a brainstorming session can help you to flesh out your characters, but it also can help you move forward if you're having a little difficulty in a certain part of the narrative. Tip number 5, do an idea combining exercise. Take 2 unrelated ideas from something you've written recently in the few paragraphs just above where you are in the project now. Write those 2 unrelated ideas down and start thinking about how they could be related. Maybe they're not related that way in the project that you're working on right now, but maybe they could be. Maybe you'll come up with some things you haven't thought about before. Oftentimes these forced, awkward connections can be just jarring enough for you as the writer to get you moving in another direction. The bottom line here is that brainstorming is a creative process, and so it's going to generate some curiosity on your part. And I would suggest that you embrace curiosity on all levels at all times as a writer, but particularly when you're doing brainstorming. Be curious. And as far as I'm concerned, if you use these techniques, before you know it, you'll be using them as a regular part of your writing, and you'll avoid writer's block entirely, which is what I suggest you do. Happy writing. Subscribe to Write, Fix, Repeat, and maybe I can help you improve your writing knowledge and skills. 5 tips at a time.